Once upon a time, a witch loved stories galore, and greedy as she was, she wanted more and more. When she saw that the librarian had stories of all kinds, she said, "I'll capture you, all your stories will be mine." There took place a curious chase through meadow, tree, and flower, till at last they ended up right at the witch's tower. Now poor Marian the librarian, a prisoner she'll stay, until the witch is happy and lets Marian go away.
Hi, I'm glad to see you. I've been trying to decide what kind of story to get for Kerfumbly. She didn't say what she wanted. It could be real or make-believe. It could be an animal story, or it could be a biography about someone's life. What was that?
Fetch!
What do you suppose is going on?
Come on, fetch!
Kerfumbly, what are you doing?
Oh, Marian, I'm so disgusted. I'm ready to turn this dog into a frog. Come here, Ruff.
Why? What did he do?
Well, that's just it. Didn't do anything. He won't do a thing I tell him to do.
Well, what did you tell him to do?
You watch. All right, Ruff. Jump. Jump. Now, how about roll over? Come on, Ruff. Roll over. Now, I know you can bark. Ruff, bark. Woof, 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 woof. Ah, see, Marian. I told you he wouldn't do anything. He won't even try.
He won't even try? Why, Kerfumbly, do you know that reminds me of a story about a dog named Maxie. Maybe if we got that story and read it to Ruff, he'd learn how to try to do his best.
Oh, yeah.
I'll see if I have the things for Maxie's story. Oh, here is the castle. Now, the castle is where the Baron lives. And look at this. This is the sign that the Baron put up. It says that he is looking for a dog to live at the castle with him. Now, if we can just find Maxie. Here is Maxie. He's a little dachshund, and he would love to live at the castle with the Baron. So let's put these things in the machine and see if we get Maxie's story. We'll turn the machine on. Oh, and the story is Maxie. Virginia Cale wrote this story.
It was market day in the little Austrian village. From miles around, everyone came down to town. Today, the villagers were very excited. There was a large sign nailed to a tree, and everyone was talking about it. And all of the dogs were excited, too, for this is what the sign said. "I am looking for a dog to live at the castle with me. He must be big and fierce and fast. Bring your dogs for the test on Saturday morning. Signed, the Baron." The old lady and the old man who lived on the edge of town read the sign, too. But they looked worried, for they had a dog, too, one that needed a good home. But the Baron wanted a big dog. And their Maxie was a dachshund. He was little and gentle and certainly not very fast. He and his mother lived with the old couple, but now Maxie was old enough to find a new home. When all of the dogs in the village went off into the forest to chase rabbits, poor little Maxie, with his stubby little legs, was left far behind. And as for being fierce, why, his very best friend in the whole village was a scrawny yellow cat named Elfie. They played for hours together. Sometimes he would growl at her, and sometimes she would spit at him, and sometimes they wrestled and rolled over and over. Why, they acted as if they would eat each other up. but they were really friends and would never hurt each other. The old lady and the old man talked about Maxie as they sat at supper. They said it would be nice if he were big and fierce and fast. Maxie heard them and went out into the little garden. He looked up at the mountain. High above the garden, brooding over the village, stood the Baron's castle. If only he could live there. But the Baron's dog must be big and fierce and fast. Maxie just sighed. When Saturday came, the old lady said, "Let's take Maxie up anyway. He's certainly not big, nor fierce, nor fast, but perhaps the Baron will see how gentle and friendly he is." So they washed Maxie and brushed his coat and put a flower in his collar. And off they started. All around them were the rest of the villagers, taking their dogs up to the Baron. The dogs raced ahead, leaping over the boulders. Poor little Maxie scampered after them, but he had so much trouble that the old man finally put him in his knapsack and carried him up to the top where everyone was gathered. First of all, the Baron said, all of the dogs should stand in line so he could measure them. He would pick the 10 biggest dogs. Little Maxie thought to himself, "All of the dogs are much bigger than I, but I'll never win if I don't even try. I shall do my best." He craned his neck to see over the heads of the large dogs, but still he couldn't see. So he stood on his hind legs, leaning against a tree. And when the Baron came, there was Maxie, taller than any of the other dogs. The Baron looked very surprised. "Well, well," he said, "you're really a very big dog when you stand this way, Maxie. Why, you're the tallest dog in the whole village." He looked at Maxie for a long while. Then he smiled. He said, "I guess it's all in the way you look at things." So he chose Maxie and 9 other dogs to pass the next test. "Large and fierce," the Baron said. Friendly little Maxie, how he wished that he could be fierce and ferocious now. He thought to himself, "All of the dogs are much fiercer than I, but I'll never win if I don't even try. I shall do my best." Maxie watched a man bring in a sack. Then the man opened the sack, and he dumped something on the ground. Out tumbled Elfie, Maxie's friend Elfie. She looked nervous, and her yellow eyes showed angry sparks. She had wanted to hunt mice, and instead she had to help test the dogs to see how fierce they were. Well, those dogs would be sorry. When the first dog came leaping toward her, she spit and clawed him and sent him back howling. She did the same thing to the next dog, and the next, and the next. At last, there was only Maxie left. He ran up to Elfie and nipped her tail. She jumped around, ready to scratch. But when she saw who it was, she knew that they were just playing, so she pretended to fight. How fierce the fight looked, with all that spitting and yelping and rolling around. So Maxie was chosen with 4 other dogs for the final test. The Baron wanted a dog that was big and fierce and fast. Little Maxie looked down at his stubby legs. "Oh," Oh, dear, he thought. This time I really haven't a chance. All of the others are faster than I, but I'll never win if I don't even try. I shall do my best. Get ready, said the Baron. Then he hurried down to the village where he would wait to greet the winner. When he waved his handkerchief, they were ready to start. The 5 dogs lined up, waiting, and then, far below, they saw the handkerchief. The race was on. Maxie ran as fast as he could, but the others passed him. He tried to run faster, but they were far ahead. To add to his troubles, a burr caught on his tail. Oh, how it pricked! He tried to snap at the burr, and he lost his footing. Head over heels he went. He started to roll. Faster and faster he went, rolling down the mountain. First he passed the mastiffs, then he passed the boxer, then he passed the police dog, and at the bottom, smack! He rolled right into the Baron and knocked him over. He looked at the Baron anxiously and wagged his tail. The Baron looked at Maxie for a long time. Then he smiled. "Well, well," he said at last, "I guess I have a dog that is bigger and fiercer and even faster than all the others in the village. How will you like to live up at the castle, Maxie?" Little Maxie wagged his tail and barked happily. How wonderful it was! The Baron had his dog, and he, Maxie, would live up at the castle. Elfie could visit him, and he could always roll down the mountain to visit his mother and the old couple. He said to himself, "I thought all the others were better than I. This shows what can happen when I really try. I'll always do my best."
Well, Kerfumbly, what did you learn from that story?
Oh, well, I'll have to think about it. Help me think about this story, will you? Now, all the other dogs were bigger and fiercer than Maxie, but did he try to be big and fierce? Well, yes, he did. And even though Maxie knew the other dogs were faster than he was, did he try to be fast? Why, yes. You know, this story teaches us that we should always try to do our best. And now I'm going to do my best to get another story. Marion, you know, this is just a perfect story for Ruff. But I want a story for myself that teaches a lesson.
All right, Kerfumbly, I have a perfect story lesson for you. I really do know a perfect story for her. Come back and help me next time, will you?
Once upon a time, a witch loved stories galore, and greedy as she was, she wanted more and more. When she saw that the librarian had stories of all kinds, she said, "I'll capture you, all your stories will be mine." There took place a curious chase through meadow, tree, and flower, till at last they ended up right at the witch's tower. Now poor Marian, the librarian, a prisoner she'll stay, until the witch is happy and lets Marian go away.